What's good, YouTube? So today we're going to be putting together the DIY CISS Part 2. So this is the second edition of the DIY CISS, and I'm excited because, listen, we got a lot of great feedback with the first DIY CISS. However, there were some issues with if you didn't hook it up 100% correctly, then your white ink was leaking, basically because, you know, there was lines pinching and things of that nature that was blocking the white ink from flowing properly. So basically with the 2.0 version, we fixed that to where, you know, your white ink will not leak, even if, you know, you didn't cut the wires properly by watching this tutorial, you know, it still will not leak. So I wanted to make sure that I provided an option to make this as user-friendly as possible, even if you're not that technical and you're not really good at taking printers apart and converting things. I wanted to make this as foolproof as possible. So this is the second version of the DIY CISS. So if you're watching this video, if you purchased, you probably have the second version now. If you are thinking about purchasing, you're going to get the second version whenever you do purchase. So I'm not putting this YouTube up until all the originals have sold, and then we're going to be moving to the second version. So if you're watching this video, second versions are live, basically. But let's get into it. So we're going to be converting the full printer today. So I actually went out and got another printer just for this conversion process. So we're going to be doing the full unboxing, and this is a step-by-step tutorial. So, you know, bear with me. I'm going to be as detailed as possible. I'm not going to cut anything out. Just like all my other tutorials where I'm showing you the conversion process, I'm extremely in-depth. So, you know, just be prepared. This may take probably about 2 hours. You know, I'm saying this before I actually do it. So the last one took about 2.5 hours. So we're going to probably try to do this one within 2. But some things that you will need. So I want to go ahead and get that out the way first. You're going to need a chip resetter. This is basically a chip resetter that you can get from Amazon. I'm going to have a link down below. But basically, when you have to reset the waste tank of the printer, you're going to be using this chip resetter. So basically just go ahead and get this one. The waste ink is going to go to the CISS, but the printer is still going to think that the ink is going to the waste tank that's inside of the printer. So you need this in case you get an error message saying that your waste tank is full or something like that. You'll use the chip resetter. Basically, you'll put these little prongs that you see here onto the maintenance box. And then basically when the light turns from red to green, then you're good to go. But this is futuristic. You won't need this right away, but you will need it later on. So just go ahead and order it. So that way it'll be, you know, here within 2-3 days or whatever the shipping time is. But go ahead and get it, you know, so that way when the printer does say your maintenance box is full, you'll have it. For the conversion, of course, you just need a screwdriver. And I got a tool inside the CISS box to, you know, make holes. But if you get a drill with a 3x16 bit, then that will make it, you know, move that much faster. But let's get into it. So first, you know, let's unbox the CISS, and then we're going to unbox the printer, and then we're going to go ahead and start the conversion. Let's get into it, y'all. Let's go. All right, so first let's unbox the DIY CISS. So this basically yellow paper right here is where we're going to drill our holes on the side of the Epson printer to attach our CISS to the printer. We got some gloves. You can use these if you want. syringe. This was the tool that I was talking about. If you move this black thing, this will be the tool that you'll use to poke a hole if you don't have a drill. This syringe, keep this. This will be to empty your waste tank whenever your waste tank gets full. These are some wires and some basically little connectors. We're gonna need these. And it also has the little washers and screws, silver screws, that's needed to attach the CISS to the side of the printer. We got the CISS itself in here. Let's pull it out. Also, hold on to this. You're gonna need this little bracket. These are your new dampers for the CISS. That's gonna help make sure that there's no ink leakage. If you've seen any, reviews on the old one, or if you have the old one and you had any white ink leakage, this is gonna help make sure that you don't have those problems. But this right here is the print head cover. This is what we're gonna do to replace the old one, because the other one, you'll see it, but the other one doesn't have these little raised grooves. So basically, if the ink isn't flowing properly because the lines are pinched and bent and all that, then basically ink kind of comes out at the bottom. So this is going to prevent it from happening. So this right here is going to be the reason why your white ink doesn't waste out of the CISS or anything like that. So this right here is going to save the day for that particular thing. So I'm super excited about that, but let's keep going. So we got our power cord, of course, syringes, gonna need those. All right, let's toss the box to the side. When you get your CISS, take it out the bag, and I want you to plug it up and make sure that it works. So, you always test electricity. So go ahead and plug it up. And then I'm gonna go to this power cord back here. And you can see it comes on. The red button is what you press in to mix the white ink. You can see in there that it's mixing. And you want to keep your CISS on number 15. So they're probably going to be on 25 when you get it. Just flip it over to 15, just like that. All right. So the CISS, you only need to press in the red button to go ahead and give you some instructions ahead of time. You only need to press in the red button about 10 to 15 minutes before you start printing, okay? 10 to 15 minutes before you start printing. Press it in, let it stir the white ink. After your 15 minutes up, turn it off. You can keep it plugged in like I have it in here. Just make sure that red button is not red anymore. After your 15 minutes, turn it off. And then you're gonna do a print head clean on your printer every day before you start printing. So you're gonna do a print head clean on your printer every day before you start printing. And that's after you press this button for about 15 minutes. 15. 15 minutes. And yeah, you basically keep it off while you're printing. It only needs to be on before you print. So 10 to 15 minutes before you print, press the button in and then let it stir. Cut it off after 15 minutes, do your print head clean, and then go ahead and start printing. But yeah, power's on, everything's good. So we're good with that. Let's move on to the printer. All right, so now we're moving on to the printer. Let's go ahead and open it up. Got my box cutter. Whoa. All right. So we got the bottles of ink in here, and then you got the power cord. All I need is the power cord. Won't be using the bottles of ink, so you can toss that to the side. Remove that. Remove that. If you already have the printer, then you can skip this little part that I'm doing right now. If you already have the printer, but if you don't, then like I said, this is a step-by-step tutorial, and we're gonna be doing everything together. All right, let's go ahead and pull that baby out. Toss that to the side. All right. All right, so this part, we've really just taken off tape, honestly. That's all we're doing. So just take off tape. Take off all the tape. 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 Take off all the tape that you see. All right. Tape, 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 tape on the sides. Push that back in. All right. And I think there's probably some more tape. Yep. Tape. And tape. All right. So throw the tape off to the side. All right. There we go. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is plug it up. Well, unplug it up to make sure that it cuts on, for one. And then for two, as soon as we see this print head move, we are going to unplug it, okay? So this is called unlocking your print head. So I'm gonna show you how it goes, but we're gonna plug it up first. Back. Close this. All right, hit our power button. All right, as soon as we see this move, it's probably not gonna move until after we hit okay in English. So English or whatever language. And then we're gonna hit continue setup without the app. It's gonna start moving. As soon as you see it move, unplug it, and you should be able to move it from side to side. Cool. All right. So now we're gonna go ahead and play with the print head. So let me start zooming in for y'all. Give y'all a good view. Move that box out the way. All right. So we're going to go over here. First, if you got a new printer, let's move that back over here for now. If you got a new printer. If you got an old one, just bear with me for a second. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and remove these two screws right here. All right. We're gonna remove this cover. And let's go inside. There's a silver screw. Right over there in the corner. This is the screw that I want you to remove. All right. Hold on. All right. All right, silver screw. Remove that one, please. Thank you. All right. Now we're going to remove the rollers, okay? Now this is the part that gives some people heartburn, but I promise you it's not that hard, okay? Just bear with me. I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Bear with me. I'll set my camera up. Try to give you the best angle as possible. All right, so all I'm going to do is stick my right hand in. I'm right here towards the edge. I'm going to basically go under with my hand, lift up, and pull out. So I lift up, pull that way. All right, that's one side. That's the easy side. So if you feel like you did something, don't pat yourself on the back just yet, because the hard side is over here, which is the side that we cannot see. So basically what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you from the side. All right, we're gonna put two hands. I got this hand closer to the print head. See the print head over here? I got this hand closer to the print head, this hand over here. We're gonna lift up and we're basically gonna pull that way. All right, we're gonna lift up and pull that way. Up, pull. All right, this is the pull part. Don't be scared. We're about to pull. 1, 2, 3, pull. There you go. See? Real simple. And if anything falls in, make sure that you get it out. All right, so bear with me for 1 second while I do that. All right, cool. Once you got everything out, we're gonna slide this back over. If this is a new printer, basically what you wanna do is you wanna make sure this lever right here is at the very top line. So you wanna make sure this is at the top line. So we're gonna loosen this screw just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, to lift this up to the very top line. And we're also gonna do it on that side. Gonna make sure that bar is at the very top line. So, and then you're gonna tighten it back up. So that's what I'm about to do right now. Take my screwdriver, unloosen just a little. All right, raise, make sure it fits in the little groove. Yeah, make sure it fits in the groove. and then we tighten back up. Real easy, real simple. Nothing hard there. I'm gonna do it on the other side. Loosen just a little bit. Raise. Put it in the groove. Tighten on back. And in case you didn't read your Amazon receipt, modifying your printer does void the warranty. So I should probably get that disclaimer in the beginning. But it was with your, Epson receipt, So it's already in your Epson disclosures when you brought the printer. So I really didn't have to say it, but I figure I'll say it anyway. But yeah. This is why we do DTF, though. This is the cheapest entry point into DTF. So yeah, we convert printers. And we take that risk for some money, because we're gonna make some money off our t-shirt business. But we're gonna move print head all the way over here. All right. Print head all the way over here. Now, there's 4 screws that I'll need you to remove. These 2 silver screws that you see there. Those 2 silver ones. And then also, those 2 black ones. 1, 2. Remove those screws. Put them off to the side. Put them off to the side. Don't lose them. Let me get my stand together. All right, there we go. Oh, that one ain't working, so let's go to old reliable. Old reliable. All right. All right. And let me get a shorter screwdriver. Let me see if this one works. Yeah, let me grab a shorter screwdriver. There we go. Make sure you put all your screws off to the side. All right, cool. So now we're gonna go ahead and remove the top. Just simply grab it off. Real simple, real easy. All right, so after we remove the top, we're gonna go ahead and grab this. And we're going to first unplug our lines. Unplug them. All right. And we're gonna move these out the way for now. So you see what I did, unclipped it from there. All right. And now that unlocked a bunch more screws. As you can see, all these screws right here. So yeah, we got to go ahead and take those screws out. So let's go ahead and remove all 6 of those. All right. And remember to put your screws off to the side. All right. We do not want to have to go back and put stuff together and then we ain't got the screws for it. How we feeling? Hope y'all feeling all right. Let's keep on going. Remove. Remove. All right, so after we remove that, we're gonna take like a screwdriver or something, put it inside the hole, and we're literally gonna push that way. And that basically unlocks everything. All right, and we should be able to lift. Yep. Go ahead and lift them and get them out. Lift, lift. All right. Cool. So now you should see, let me get up in there. There's 4 screws. You see them in the corners. 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead and let's remove those 4 screws. So the reason why the old CISS would leak, basically if the wires were like pinched like this or bent, like when you set them up inside the print head, basically the ink can't flow through the dampers properly, so it would basically just kind of flood through these little flat sides, because remember this one is flat, but the one that we're gonna put on, you see how it kind of locks that damper in place where nothing can kind of flow off to the sides like this one. This one's flat, so that's the reason. So we're gonna be replacing that guy with this guy. But let's go ahead and keep on screwing. And these screws look to be a little shorter, so I'm gonna put them off to the side a little further so we don't mix up these 4. And I said 2 hours, but I wasn't really thinking about the print head part. So it might be a little longer. So if you gotta pause at any point and come back, then do that. But the goal is just to pull this out as best as we can. And basically flip it over. Now this is a brand new printer, so I don't know how there's already ink in it. But let's go ahead and like that. All right, so basically, just had that napkin right there. All right, so try not to touch the actual print head itself. We're going to basically take these 4 screws off the side. Put them off to the side. Man, we like real life, you know, printer techs out here, you know. If you weren't technical before, you sure are technical now. All right. Almost lost one. All right, so after we take the screws out, we're gonna go ahead and take these out on the side. Kind of remember, you know, where go where. So the little short one goes on this side, and the longer one goes on this side. All right, and we're basically going to try to grab it from the sides, and what we're trying to do is free this green part from the black print head, basically. All right, so we're going to take a screwdriver or something and try to gently push up, gently, just gently. And it should dislodge itself. And yeah, this is basically what it looks like. So we no longer need this one. This one is gone. And now we're basically assembling it to the new one. So we're gonna grab our print head and basically put it on there. And then long side goes back here. Make sure it's pressed in there firmly. All right. And short side goes back here. All right. And we're gonna go ahead and attach our screws. So go grab your 4 screws and basically tighten them up. Don't tighten too tight, you know. Don't want to damage the print head or anything. All right. Believe it or not, this was the easy part. Now, we actually have to put the CISS together and connect it to the side. All right, cool. Now that we got it in there, we're gonna go ahead and set it back. We're gonna put this wire back in front like it was and basically sit it back comfortably back in there. Cool. And now we're just gonna go ahead and put our 4 screws back in the corner again. Let's go ahead and knock that out, people. All right. Y'all let me know in the comments how I'm doing so far, if y'all able to follow along easily or not. How much trouble y'all having, if any. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling. I'll go ahead and post something in the comments, you know. Let's engage with one another so I can know how y'all doing. Screwing those back in. All right, so that's in. We are good from that perspective. We're gonna go ahead and flip this guy over. And flip this guy over, insert it back inside of the little grooves on the side right there. Yep. And basically go ahead and put it back how it was. All right. There we go. All right, and let's just screw it down. Just try to match the plastic part up with the grooves. That's the easiest way to do it. And we're gonna go ahead and put this back. And we're just gonna leave it like that for the moment. And we're gonna move to, before we put the dampers on, the new dampers. These dampers that came with the CISS. Before we put those in, we're gonna go through the part of connecting the actual CISS to the side. All right, so let me clean my station up some, and then we can start on that together. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have to take this side panel off. So there's a screw here, there's a screw right there, and there's a screw in the very back. Very back right there, where my thumb at. We're gonna remove those 3 screws, all right? Screw. My son's car decided to make a noise out of nowhere like it's Toy Story. That was a little scary. All right. And we're gonna get the slash screw in the back. All right. Cool. So once we do that, we're going to basically take this. Oh, sorry. One more screw. This one right here. I'm going to go ahead and grab that one. All right. All right, cool. So now we're basically just going to grab this and pull that way. Might have to lift this up and disconnect this first. So we're going to close this, basically disconnect this. We'll put it back later. Let me just go on that side. We'll put it back later. All right. I can lift that back up. And basically just gonna pull this guy off. All right, so make sure you take a long look at this. You wanna make sure you don't touch any of these wires. This is where, you know, all the circuits and everything is. So if your printer does not come on, 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, you probably loosen one of those wires. So make sure that you do not touch anything over there, and you be really careful on this side, because we do not want to unplug anything by accident or touch anything over there by accident. All right. So now, that being said, we're going to move over to removing all of the black screws that hide basically in these holes. Yeah. So let's go ahead and remove all the black screws that you can find. Trying to catch it with the magnet. There we go. All right, well, on to this one. And that one is just not gripping, so. But before, when I said maintenance box chip resetter, basically, if your printer says your maintenance box is full, you're gonna take these little prongs and you're gonna basically hold them on the side right here. And I don't know if y'all can see my light turning red, but yeah. But basically, you're gonna hold it until it turns green. So whenever it turns green, you'll be able to just put that back in there and lock it back up, basically. But that's what the chip resetter is for. Because normally, if you didn't have the CISS, all your print head cleans and power cleans will go to this maintenance box. And basically, this is all where your dirty ink goes. So yeah, that's the purpose of it. And that's the purpose of the chip resetter. move all these screws out the way. All right. And now we're gonna go inside of this flat screw. Actually, we're gonna take this and we're gonna pop it off. Simple. But we're gonna remove black screw, silver screw, silver screw. Doesn't work on the silver screws, all right. All right, and we're going to go ahead and work on the back of the printer. There's a screw right here, and then there's a screw towards the bottom like it was on the other side. And we're gonna do a similar thing as we did with the other one. Basically just go ahead and pop this one off. It was easier if I grabbed it from here and kind of loosened it up here and just kind of pulled back. All right. So this will be the side that we drill the holes in. So we're gonna just set this to the side for right now. Before we do all that, let me flip this guy around. Gonna lift these up. We're going to take this black thing and basically lift it out of that groove right here on the side. You can move your print head back over to the far right for right now. But yeah, basically just lifting up until out of place, and we're basically gonna set it down, lift this up. Before we can do that, we gotta get this little screw that is now uncovered. So now we can go just take this whole thing and just put it off to the side for now. All right, cool. So it's time to get into attaching the CISS and all that good stuff. So first, we're going to take the waste tank tube off of the waste tank because it won't be going there anymore. You can go ahead and move your print head back over here to the left. And then you'll see that the waste tank is basically over here. Just pull it so it's right there. All right. We're gonna cut it in a few, but not right now. All right, so first we're gonna take this side panel that went to this side of the printer. We're gonna grab that. We're gonna grab our yellow paper. Put you right there, all right. Then basically, don't get the sticky part off the yellow paper. Is what we're trying to do. There we go. All right. All right, so basically you want to try to line up this part. This part might be off a little bit over here. Line up this part with the bottom. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to line up the bottom as best as we can without any wrinkles. All right. There we go. So yeah, it's kind of how we want it. As best as we can. Don't need to be perfect. We'll be able to go back and drill holes if need be. But we can take our tool that came with it and basically drill the holes. So you can take this tool right here and basically dig it. Or you can take your drill. So I'm gonna take the drill. All right. All right, I had to go charge up my drill. But basically we're gonna be putting holes. We're gonna make this whole thing a hole. So I like to just put holes all the way through it, and then just go back and clean it up. There we go. So, got a full hole. That might have been a cleaner way to do that, but we got it done. So, now remove your plastic. clean our work area up a little bit. All right. And now we're gonna grab the CISS. You can take the power cord out of the CISS. So have it just like that. Back up some. All right. Grab the CISS. We're gonna take the tubes. Make sure that you do not mix them up. Keep them straight. You don't wanna cross the wires or anything like that. You wanna keep them straight. So it's best if you just put them in one by one. It's extremely important not to mix the wires, because if you mix the wires, you're basically mixing the colors. And we don't want to do that, because then it's going to be hard to tell which color is which and all that good stuff. So make sure the wires are straight. You see, that's straight. We're going to pull it through. Perfect. All right, and now we're gonna go to our bag. This bag right here. And we're gonna grab them silver screws and them silver circles that you see. And you're basically gonna tighten the screw through the hole. So put the screw inside of the washer, and then let's find a hole. Let's grab a screwdriver. Don't tighten all the way just yet. Keep it a little loose. And if your holes are a little off, you could just go back with your drill and just kind of make the hole bigger. Let's see. You might have to take off little pieces of any little stray pieces of debris. Go ahead and take those off. All right. My other two holes look like they lined up. I gotta clean the debris off of this one a little bit. It'll help if I put the CISS inside the camera view, huh? All right. Like I said, if your hole's off a little bit, just take the drill. And I'll just take the drill to the hole that, you know, is off a little bit. You know, just don't go too deep, you know, just enough to make the hole a little bigger, you know. And last one. All right, now we can go tighten up everything after you got everything into all 4 holes. All right, cool. Now, you see, it's a part of the side, so it's not going anywhere now. You know, we would just hook this back and the CISS will be a part of the printer from now on. Pretty cool, right? All right, so let me clean my station up a little bit, give myself some working room. All right, so now we're gonna take the printer and we're gonna be working with this side. All right, so first thing is you need to grab yourself a pair of scissors. So bear with me for one moment while I do that. All right, grab a pair of scissors and we're gonna cut probably about right here. So you can look at the little lines on the side. Should be 1, 2, 3, 4. So just below the 5th one, just gonna cut just like that. And you can just throw this piece away. All right, so in the beginning of the video, I forgot to mention that you need a pair of wire cutters. I'm gonna link them down below. I'll probably have some type of words come across the bottom of the screen when I actually post this video. But you are gonna need some wire cutters. And like I said, link them below so you can have them. But what we're gonna do now is actually, let's do this first. So we're gonna pull this down. Just see inside. All right. So if you look, the ink cartridge where these tubes are connected to, we're gonna actually pull these tubes up to disconnect them from the ink cartridges because we're gonna connect them to the CISS. So, all right, basically just grab and lift it up. And we're gonna move it off to the side back here. We're gonna do that for each one. If you use a screwdriver like me, make sure you don't poke a hole in it. Just try to lift it up and then pull. So now we're going to take our wire cutters. We're going to take our wire cutters, and basically the goal is to remove all these little grooves so that way we can have our tubes lay down flat, going straight down. So we're going to remove basically as much of these little black grooves as you can. And try not to get anything inside the printer. And we're just going to keep removing. This part is the part that probably takes the longest. Plus I'm trying to do it around my camera. Hold on, let me lift this up some. towards the end. And if anything falls in, if you gotta flip your printer upside down, just make sure, once again, that if you do flip it upside down, you be careful on this side. Do not touch anything, wires over on that side. But there we go. All right, so everything should be able to basically just go straight. Oh, I got one more to go. All right, perfect. All right. And everything should be able to fit, goes and basically goes straight across. All right, great. All right, so now let me clean up my work area some and get all these little black pieces out of the way. All right, so before we hook the CISS up to the side, we are going to connect grabbing these little connectors out the back. We're gonna connect the waste tank, this little black tube. So we're gonna press that down in there. And then we're gonna take our first tube, the first one to the far side over here, and connect that. And this is basically our waste tank. So all the dirty ink will go here. When this is full, this little button right here is gonna beep. And then you'll basically take that big syringe that I showed you in the beginning, this one right here. And you're basically gonna take this, attach a tube to it, and basically just expose all the dirty ink, throw it in the toilet or whatever the case may be. But yeah, that's basically how you empty your waste tank. But let's keep going. All right, so after you attach that tube, we're gonna hook we're gonna place that one into the groove, the very first groove. So we're basically gonna insert into the very first groove. That's all you gotta do. All right, cool. Now it's time to attach the CISS to the printer so we can begin working. All right. So for this, you want to make sure you got all your wires out the way. Just stuff them off to the side as best as you can. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and attach the CISS to the thing. We're gonna go ahead and put the 2 silver screws in the back end. So the one that goes up there and then the one that goes down there, just so it can stay, you know, tight. So attach our CISS. All right, grab your screws. That's one screw back there. Alright, so I already put the one screw back there, so we're gonna put the one screw down there at the bottom too. And this is just to hold it in place while we get our wires together. Get y'all inside as much as possible. All right. Cool. All right, so now we're gonna be working with the first 2 closest to the waste tank. And the first 2 over here. And basically we're going to cut and then basically connect these tubes with the connector piece. I'm going to cut about there. Grab the first 2. And don't be, and the goal is to make sure that they're laid down flat. Don't, you know, be scared about cutting too much off because you can pull, you know, the line from the CISS. So there's more slack inside of the CISS 9 times out of 10 that you got to work with. So, you know, don't be fearful that you cut too much off or something like that. But this part that we're doing now, and the next part is extremely important. You want to make sure these tubes are laying down as much as possible. So if you need to like push it back inside the CISS like I'm doing, like I'm just grabbing it and pushing it that way. And basically just getting it back inside the CISS to where it can lay down flat. All right. Yep, perfect. Just make sure your yellow part is on there as good as possible. And lay it back down in the groove. And there you go. All right, we're gonna do that for each one. And make sure you go in order and you don't mix anything up. So now I'm on this one. There we go. We got that one straight. Probably gonna cut some of this one off and some of this one off. All right. Grab you a connector piece. Twist it in there. All right, and then put that in there. Then lay it down. There you go. And that's pretty much what we're doing for all of them, like I said. So just make sure that you go in order. You don't cross your tubes. So now I'm gonna do this one. All right. Cut that side. Cut that one. Maybe cut a little bit more. All right. Grab your connector. Put that on. All right, on to the next one. This one.
Y'all go in the comments, let me know how y'all doing so far. How nerve-wracking is this part? I promise it's okay. I promise you it's okay. Just try to, you know, get it to lay down flat as good as you can. And like I said, any extra slack, try to just pull it back into the CISS. All right, we're on the last two. Like I said, make sure you're looking at your cords to make sure you didn't accidentally cross anything by accident. Cut some more. A little bit more. Okay. Grab my connector. And if they're not laying down flat and you need to take your wire cutters and cut some of these black pieces some more. Those little black pieces, if you need to cut more of those, that's okay. Just go ahead and do that. See, there we go. All right, this last tube. Good enough. There. Perfect. There we go. All right, so there we go. We got everything connected, and your test is basically to take the print head and can you go over it without your cords moving at all. So you want to go over it without your cords moving. at all. And that's basically your test. So yeah, cool. We're done with that part. And now we can go ahead and move on to the print head and finish with that. And then once we finish with that, we just put it all back together and then we're good to go from there. So let's go ahead and get to the print head. All right, so next we're going to grab our dampers and take them out of this plastic bag. And I gave you 2 extras in case something happens and you mess up a damper or something like that, but you only need 6. So just count out 6. All right, so first what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our screwdriver and we're basically gonna poke a hole through here so that way the ink can flow. And I might need a skinnier screwdriver. Take this one. And you basically should see it kind of poke through. And you see the seal just broke. That's how you want to do it. But make sure you don't mess up this part. You just basically want to poke a hole in this. You should see it come through and you should see the seal break. And give it a good little twist. And you basically want to do that for all of them. This is just so the ink can flow through the dampers. All right, before we do that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this part off. We don't need this part, this black and blue part. So take your screwdriver and remove those 2 silver screws that we just put back. All right, so after you remove the screws, we're gonna move this out the way first. There we go. Yeah, it's a snug fit, y'all. Super snug fit. I guess this is why there won't be any leakage. There we go. Super snug fit, y'all. Try to press down on it to get it as straight as possible. Make sure you don't poke a hole in the thing while you're pressing. There we go. Bam. There we go. All right, everything's in there. Should be tight, secure, snug. Perfect. Perfect, 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 perfect. All right, so now what we're gonna do is, you see these little tabs on the blue thing? These little tabs, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna go ahead and remove this top part because we won't be able to keep this top part. So we just need to remove this top part off. So I'm basically gonna take a screwdriver and kind of pop, get these loose. And that little spring over here, go ahead and just undo that. Take that spring off. And we just gonna remove these little parts right here. All right, got almost there. All right. And then there's 2 more over here on the side too that you gotta worry about. My goal is to just get that off. I'm gonna go check the other side. There we go. I can tell it's moving some. There we go. All right, just like that. Now, any pieces that might have fell off, go ahead and throw those outside of your printer. All right, cool. Now we're gonna go ahead and attach this piece back. Before we attach it, let's go ahead and just put the tubes on. All right, so first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these 4 inside ones and connect them to the 4 insides. So this first one is your black. This is yellow. Get that on there. This is magenta. And this is blue. And then the two outside ones are your white. All right. What we're gonna do is connect a clear piece to our yellow tube, the far white that's right here. And then we're going to connect the clear piece to our other yellow tube, the far white that's on the other side. All right. Then we're gonna take that long tube that was twisted up in the bag, and we're basically gonna cut it, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this on the outside here, and basically these will be on the whites, and this will kind of go back here, so we're gonna have to cut this a little bit. So I'm just gonna cut some off the edges right here. And then kind of just put this back on. Yep, there we go. There we go. Do it just like that. All right, so what we did so far, let me get you up in there. Is we basically took the little T, fit it between the dampers here, and then connected it white, connected it like that. Perfect. All right, so now we're gonna take this, connect the tube from here, and then connect the tube to the outside of both of those. And basically have a whole little loop. So basically the clear tube is gonna go here, And the clear tube is gonna go here and connect to this. All right, so once you got that screwed on, we can go ahead and clamp this in and kind of put that under. There we go. All right, and you should be able to move side to side like that. All right, now it's time to go ahead and start putting the printer back together. Before we do that, let's go ahead and power the printer on real quick. Just to make sure everything comes on properly. English, continue. Let's see how the print head moves from side to side. It's gonna take a little while because normally you want to make sure that you start off on this side. All right, and while that's doing that, let me clean up my mess. All right, cool. So now it's telling you to start and initialize. We're not gonna do that just yet. We're gonna put the printer back together. This was just to make sure that you didn't get any kind of error messages. So we're gonna go ahead and unplug it. Make sure your dampers are pressed down again. One last time. Let me see. We can get it on there. Might be just enough. Yeah. Yeah, we can go ahead and put the top on. Go ahead and grab your black screws that you used. All right, got the print head cover back on. Let's go ahead and put everything back together. So first, I'm gonna go ahead and put this side, well, we're gonna go ahead and take the CISS, we're gonna unhook it and go ahead and remove that because we gotta put together, we gotta put that little black piece on first before we do all this. So we're gonna remove this now. Yeesh. There we go. I was about to say. Then we're gonna grab the one in the back here. Cool. All right. So let's go ahead and remove it. Now we're gonna go ahead and put this back on with this. And basically the wires are gonna go through these little grooves on the side, come down, then go through there, basically. All right. Gonna lay this down first. Go. And we're gonna put this some more slack. Go. Boom. All right, just like that. That little small silver screw, we're gonna put it back into that one hole that's underneath this one right here. Not that one, but this one. All right, and now that we got that part on, now it's time to put our CISS back on and attach it back on. So if you look, there's a hook right here that basically fits inside of this groove that my finger's in. And then there's a hook that goes there. So we basically gonna make sure those are inside the hooks and basically put it back on. Push it off to the edge some. All right, so after you get it connected, go ahead and put the screws on. All right, so we're gonna put those 2 screws in. Then we're gonna put that screw in right here. This was one of the smaller ones. All right. Then put the screw in the back, right there. This was a small. Then start putting in our black screws. Black screw. Black screw. Black screw. black screw right there. All right, and then over here on this side, I don't remember if it was black or silver, but I'm just gonna put the black screw right there. I think they both was black, I believe, I'm not sure. We towards the end, y'all. After we put this together, all we gotta do is put ink in there and then set up our software. All right, cool. You can grab your little gray top, insert into the hole, and clip on. All right. Let's go ahead and put our top on. Black screws. Let's see if we can get all the screws on. That'll be fun. Let's see if we got no screws missing. All right. Now we did that. Now we just gotta put this side on. All right. Fits on pretty easily. All right. Let's go ahead and take our silver screws and go ahead and get that going. Silver screw there. Silver screw here. Then we got two more silver screws. One, remember, down here at the bottom. And then one in the back. Alright. And last silver screw in the back. And then we're gonna put our little flap on. That last screw that go back here. Perfect. All right, so now we're gonna close our printer. And then we're basically gonna clip this into the back. Okay. All right. Perfect. CISS printer. It's attached, y'all. Look at that. Pretty. All right. Now what I want you to do is go ahead and get your bottles of ink. And we're gonna basically go ahead and fill these colors up. All right, so white, cyan, magenta, yellow, black. Of course, don't put anything in this one. But go ahead and fill up each one of these colors for me with ink. Hopefully you got the bundles because this takes 250 milliliters of ink. Hopefully you didn't get the little small 100 milliliter pack because yeah, that might not be enough. But yeah, go ahead and fill up white with white, cyan with cyan, magenta with magenta, yellow with yellow, and black with black, and then come back. All right, so after you put the ink in, let's go ahead and power it on. Make sure my power cord in the back. All right, so go ahead and power your printer on. We're going to choose English. We're going to choose continue setup without the app. I'm going to let it do that processing thing again. Apologize about that. That was my Alexa. All right, so now we're gonna hit the OK up here. We're gonna hit proceed. It's gonna ask you, did you fill up all your inks? You're just gonna hit proceed on all of them since we already filled it up. And then we're gonna hold OK. And then we're gonna hit start. And this is gonna take about 7 minutes for it to initialize. And we're just gonna let it do that. We're probably gonna do one more power clean after this. Basically, the initializing is taking the ink from the CISS and running it through the lines and filling up the dampers, basically, is what that process is doing. So that takes about 7 minutes. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and move on to the computer. Now, if you already have Digital Factory set up, then all you gotta do is go to Q and set ink order and make sure your ink order is set up like this: white, black, yellow, magenta, cyan, and then white too. And then hit OK. If you do not have CAD Link installed already and you bought the activation code through me or through somebody else, all you have to do is go to catlink.com. You'll go to products, and then you'll go over to Digital Factory. You're going to click on where it says free trial. You're going to hit the first one. A little download link is going to come up there. You just click on it. You're going to hit yes. Now I already have it downloaded, but so I'm not going to go through the entire thing, but you're going to make sure the first bubble is checked. Do not check the other two. Make sure the first one is highlighted. You're going to hit next, and you're basically just going to hit next a bunch of times. I'm going to go ahead and cancel it because I already have it installed, but you're basically just going to keep hitting next until it installs, and then when it installs, just keep on hitting next again and again until it closes, the downloader closes all the way. When the downloader closes, all you got to do is go to your search at the bottom, and you're going to search for Digital Factory. It's going to look like this. This is the official name of CADlink. So anytime that you're looking for CADlink, you're going to search Digital Factory, and this is the one. You'll hit open, and then if this is your first time installing it after you do that download that I just showed you, it's going to ask you for your activation code and stuff like that. So go ahead and enter your activation code, your name, email, phone number, address. It's going to ask you a lot of that information. Enter all that in and then hit activate at the bottom. And then you're probably going to have to go back at the bottom after you enter your activation code and search for it again. But whenever CADlink does come up, it's going to look like this. You're going to hit next. You're going to go find the Epson ET8550. If you click on install printer, you're going to search 8550, and there's going to be a V2 option down here at the bottom. I already have it saved up here, so that's why mine didn't show at the bottom. But you want to make sure you got the Epson 8550 DTF V2 selected. You're going to choose where it says port. TCP/IP network is Wi-Fi. So if you want to use Wi-Fi, I highly recommend that you do not use Wi-Fi. I highly recommend that you go out and get one of these USB cords that basically go on the back of the printer, and then the USB that hooks up to your actual computer. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this into the back of my printer. All right, and I'm gonna get off of that. I'm gonna choose TCP for now, and just hit OK. But when you click on TCP, if your Wi-Fi is set up, you'll see your Wi-Fi pop up right here. You'll click on it and hit OK. I'm not gonna use Wi-Fi, so I'm gonna come back to that in a second. We're gonna change print mode to default. Next. We're gonna change roll media to fixed sheet. We're gonna choose 13 by 19 on the drop down. We're gonna hit next. We're gonna leave that on auto page. Next, leave that on hold, hit finish. But that's what it would look like if basically you are setting up CADlink for the first time. So I'm gonna finish kind of showing you the settings of what it will look like. But First, after you do that, you want to go to Q, manage Q. Right here where it says port, if you're using USB, you're going to see an option that says USB. If you're using Wi-Fi, remember you click on this one. Make sure your Wi-Fi is connected on your printer, so make sure you set up the Wi-Fi on your printer. But I'm using the USB, so I'm going to choose the USB. And if this says install, click that and change it to remove. So we're going to hit close on that. We're going to go to Q, set ink order. Remember your ink order is white, black, yellow, magenta, cyan, white 2. So you change it down here at the bottom. Then you hit OK. You're going to go to Q and properties. We're going to start at media setup, where it says fixed sheet 13 by 19. That's good. Layout manager, we want to make sure the box mirror job on import is checked. We're going to go to color layer over here on the side and go to processing options. Under base, we want this to say strong 100%. We want this to be at 90. We want this to be at 3. And we leave all that the same. All right. If your underbase is grayed out, sometimes there's a glitch in CAD-Link. If it's grayed out and it doesn't let you choose underbase, you'll probably have to either uninstall CAD-Link and redo it, or you'll have to go to Q, manage Q, and delete the Q, hit the red X on the Q, and then basically hit the green plus sign and add another Q again and do it over again. But that's kind of what I noticed. Inline speed, you want to keep that on normal or high quality. Normal is pretty good. High quality if you want the best looking prints. But it is going to take a little longer, so you know, just remember that. And then we're gonna hit OK. And that's pretty much it. All right, so we're gonna go back to our printer. The first initializing is done. We're gonna hit to adjustment. We're gonna hit adjust later. And then we're gonna hit OK. All right. Now, what I want y'all to do is take your screwdriver, and I want to look inside the print head, basically to see if the white ink is circulating and moving. And if I can look and see if the dampers look like they have ink in it, basically. All right, cool. So we can see basically we got some colors going. We can see the white ink. Let me get in there. You can see the white ink is not clear anymore, it's white. So that lets me know everything is flowing properly. So we're gonna do one more power clean to go ahead and make sure the dampers are completely full with ink. So we're gonna go to maintenance and then power clean. Now remember when I said every day, so tomorrow when you start printing, you wanna make sure you try to print at least once or twice a day, all right? You wanna try to print as often as you can. Every day, but at least 1 to 2 prints just to keep the white ink flowing, because the CISS is going to shake the white ink that's inside of here, but we got to make sure we're constantly replacing the white ink that's inside of these dampers. So we're going to have to print daily, or make sure that we're doing our print head cleans daily. But I would prefer if you kind of follow the instructions at the beginning where I said every day you're going to cut your CISS on for about 10 to 15 minutes. Make sure that it's set to 0.15 in the back. You're going to cut it on, let this stir. You're going to cut it off after 15 minutes. And then you're going to go to print head clean. You're going to let that run, and then you're going to start printing. And that's basically your daily procedure. Now, right now, we're going to do a power clean. Power clean is basically used to basically flush ink through the lines and through the dampers to try to undo any clogs or to fill up the dampers. So since this is our first time using this printer, we're going to do a power clean, 2 power cleans. The first one was the initializing, and this is our second one. We're going to do those 2 power cleans to basically fill up the dampers. Now, if you ever in a situation where your white ink is not printing, then you want to go here and do a power clean. That's usually the first solve, is to try to do a power clean. If your white ink is clogged up because you wasn't doing your maintenance or you wasn't printing as often as you should be, then you want to do the power clean. But remember, power cleans, they waste ink. They fill up your waste tape fast. So you want to try to not do power cleans as much as possible. But we got to do these 2 in the beginning because we got to fill these dampers up correctly. All right. So while that's doing that, we're going to come back over to our computer now that we set up CAD Link. We're going to go, let me kind of show you how to use it. So the green plus sign is basically where you'll go and find images on your computer. I already have an image right here, but basically you'll just find images that's saved on your computer. When you upload it, you want to make sure that the image that you upload is already set to 300 resolution, 300 DPI. If you get an error message that says you need to supersize the image, that means your image isn't good quality, and we can try to fix it, but you might not be able to save it that much depending on where you got it from. So if you got the error message that says you need to supersize, you'll basically right click and then go down here to the bottom where it says supersize image. You see my resolution for this particular image was already at 300, so I don't need to change it. But it'll tell you what your current resolution is. So if you got that error message saying that you need to supersize the image, more than likely your resolution is below 300. So you'll change it to 300 in this box. Just type 300, hit OK. I'm just gonna say 320 so I can show you what the next page looks like. And then you'll hit OK down here at the bottom again. All right. Over here to the right is where you'll size your image. You want to make sure that the picture is clicked on. You got to have the picture actually clicked on. It's going through the supersize right now, so that's why you got that clock. Basically, when you see the clock, that just means that it's loading. But right now, if you look over here, my image is set to 10 inches wide to 10 inches long. If I want to do 12, I'll just hit 12. Now, if I want to move either the width or the length without moving the other, I hit the unlock, and then I can change this to 14, and I'll change this one to 11, and then yeah. So after you play with the size and get it how you want, you're basically gonna hit this third orange paper at the top, just center at top of page. And then now we're ready to print. And basically when you go to print, you're gonna hit this print job right here, printer with the rainbow. But our power clean is still going on right now. We're almost done. So everything is looking good. And as you can see with this method, there's no white ink leaking or nothing. Everything is good. You want to make sure you did not poke holes in your dampers or in your lines or anything. You'll get a message that say print quality will improve in 12 hours. You can ignore that. Just hit OK. Hit your home button. Cool. Now we're good to go. So now we're going to go ahead and put our paper in the back. Hopefully you're rocking with the Highly Flavored, you know, the best DTF supplies out there, period. You know, you can check the reviews. But we're gonna go ahead and open the back. And the front side is our print side. So the print side is right here. So when you take the paper out, make sure you do not lose the print side, because you only could print on one side of the paper. If you print on the wrong side, it's going to be all watery, and then basically the ink is going to be sliding off the paper. So you don't want that. So the print side should be facing you. Print side should be facing me the entire time. The non-print side is facing the back. All right. All right. Just gonna ask you about the paper size and all that. You could just hit the home button. You don't need that. Now we're gonna hit print. And when this changes to printing, then this should say printing. Yep. All right. Now you probably need to get a cardboard. If you've seen some of my videos on social media, you'll see me print with a cardboard right here. Basically, I get a cardboard that's 13 inches wide to fit the gap, and that goes to right here, so that way the paper can go over the hump easily without any problems. But for right now, if you notice that you have smears because the paper can't go over the hump, then that's the reason. So, but right now it is printing, and we got our DTF image printing right now. You don't have to have the printer up while it prints. That's just something that I do, but you don't have to. I just like to see what it's doing. But basically it layers the color down first, and then it goes back over it with a white coat. And we'll just check to make sure that all our colors are working. And if not, then we'll just go back and basically make sure our dampers are pressed down correctly and do another power clean. So we'll see how this first print go. I don't see my magenta printing, and I could look towards the end over there, and it doesn't look like that damper is full all the way. So we'll just see how it goes. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel mine because I see that I don't have all my colors like I'm supposed to. So you can see my Charmander is not doing all the color things. So let's go in and figure it out. I'm glad that this happened so that way I can help anybody from a troubleshooting standpoint. So first what we want to do is look at our dampers. And this is the magenta one. So I want to make sure that magenta is actually able to go through correctly. So you want to press all your dampers down onto the holes. All right, and then we're gonna run another power clean. So we're gonna go to maintenance, and then power clean, and then go through this. Now you wanna make sure you get that chip resetter, because about 3 power cleans and the printer is gonna feel like the maintenance box right here is supposed to be full. So you probably gonna need that chip resetter to do any more power cleans. And you can also look down there at your ink pad, and I see white, blue, and black, but I don't see magenta. So that's also another indicator. I said, I'm glad that this happened so that way we can troubleshoot if your printer isn't printing ink. If it was, then kudos, great job. But, you know, I'm glad this happened so that way, instead of me having to create a second troubleshooting video, I could just do it all in one video. And after this power clean is done, we're gonna try to print one more time. All right, so it's done. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my DTF film. Remember, make sure the print side is always facing you. All right, I'm hit the home screen. I'm gonna go back over here, have your image up. I'm gonna hit print, and we're gonna see what happens this go around. Now, if you print and it says paper jam and it's not printing, that's a separate issue. That's basically you needing to use the blue tape trick. So the blue tape trick. Now I do see magenta on it now, if you've seen it over there in the corner. So we probably just had to do some more power cleaning since it was the first print. I mean, since it's the first time setting up. Let's see how this one looks. Yeah, I can see colors now. I see yellow. I see green. Yeah. I'm starting to see the colors now. So I probably just need maybe a few power cleans to get it going. So you probably need that chip resetter sooner than you thought, if you don't have it yet. But I could definitely see more colors now than I did before. So yeah, there we go. We'll see how this turns out. I'm gonna leave this here for y'all. Basically leave it like that. If it's still not perfect, you probably need another power clean. But as I'm looking on the print head, let me get y'all in there. You can now see magenta, you see a streak of yellow, you see the white, the blue, and then of course you can't see black because the pad is black, but I know it's there. But if your colors are still very faint, then just do some more power cleans until it basically clears up. I can start to see this time Charmander is a little orange now. So that's a good sign. And I see a lot more colors than I did before. But you'll see the paper coming out, and this is the hump I'm talking about. If you get any smears, if you notice a smear happening when this paper is going over the hump inside the printer, like a smear happening inside the printer, as that paper is going over this, then you'll need to get you a cardboard. But I'm gonna basically just not do it for the sake of this because I don't have a cardboard right now, but you'll just get you something that can basically fit on the inside and go toward. Basically, you want it to push all the way in. Never touch the paper, by the way. My bad. But you want to push all the way in and get to that flap. Definitely see the colors more. Probably need one more power clean. But I do see it's not like strong colors on my end. So I'll probably need one more power clean. But this is definitely an improvement from the last print. Remember, the last print had absolutely no color. It was just blue and white. So you see this one got way more color. So definitely getting that ink to flow through with the power cleans. And like I said, once you got it flow through, you won't need power cleans unless you have a clog. So unless you got a white ink clog going forward, you won't need to do power cleans. You'll just do print head cleans. Power cleans is just for me to run ink through the lines to try to, either fill up the dampers or to undo any, clogs or anything that I got. And also, I didn't say this on here, but the last 2 inches of the paper you cannot print on. So the last 2 inches. So you only can make your image like 12 by 17 and make sure it's at the tippity top. The last 2 inches, the 18th inch and the 19th inch of the 13 by 19 paper, you cannot print on. Or the last 2 inches of any size paper that you have for that matter, you cannot print on, because it will smear at the bottom. All right, let's scoot back real quick and see. Make sure you don't touch the ink. But look at that. Woohoo! Charmander! Look at the colors. Look at it. Yes, our DTF print is now finished, y'all. That's sexy. That I like. All right, so from here, if you've seen any of my videos, you put the powder on the back, shake off all the excess powder, shake it off as hard as you can. You want to make sure your heat press or your DTF oven is set to 385 degrees Fahrenheit. If you don't have it set on Fahrenheit and it's on Celsius, then you can do go to Google and type in whatever Celsius to Fahrenheit conversion. But 385, and you're basically going to cook the powder. So you're going to set the transfer face down and basically have the heat press hovered over the powder and the white ink. Don't close it all the way, of course. You don't want it to touch it, but you just want it to hover. And you're basically going to cook it until the powder is nice, shiny texture. And then when it's all nice and shiny, you're going to change your heat press to about 300 degrees to 330 degrees. And then you're going to press it on your t-shirt. You're going to do a pre-press on the t-shirt for about 5 seconds. And then you're going to put the image on the t-shirt and press it down for about 12 to 15 seconds, tight pressure. Rip it off. And then boom, do one final press for 8 seconds and then you got your finished product. But yes, I hope this video helped y'all set up y'all CISS. Y'all go in the comments, let me know how I did. I don't even know how long it took. I was breaking it up into smaller videos as I was going. But yeah, y'all just let me know. I love y'all as always. I want y'all to stay blessed and stay highly flavored. Peace, y'all. Bye, y'all.